Good morning. Welcome back to part 2 of Who Let the Cats Out. Today what I want to do is work on some paper cats. I'm going to be using one of the patterns that I created, except that I kind of tweaked it a little bit. This one here, I pointed the ears a little bit more. So it's the same size, maybe a little bit bigger, but the ears are a little bit more pointed. So I'm going to be using this. I've got my Strathmore mixed media paper. It is 140 pounds, and I've got my 4x6 frame that I tested to see if my cat would fit in here nice and neat. My friend likes to frame everything, so I'm imagining that she'll frame these eventually. So that works. And I have some cardstock. It's a lightweight cardstock so that I can use it as a pattern rather than something so light. And I'm going to cut it out with an X-Acto knife, which leads me to my self-healing mat. So I'm going to first trace my cat, and then I'm going to cut it out with my X-Acto knife, and then I'll use the negative space as my template. Okay, I can use this as a pattern piece, but this is what I'm really after right here. So I'm going to cut this out just a little bit closer to the size of the cat. Now, I'm going to get my paper ready, and if this doesn't work out the way I plan, I won't be doing it this way again. But if it works out the way I plan, I'll be making 3. And then you're going to need some stencils. Okay, so here's what I did next, and this is kind of convoluted because I'm not a fancy measurer. I'm just kind of winging it. And because I cut this out and it's not even on each side of the cat, it's kind of hard to place on your paper so that you know it's centered. So if you're one of these people that really needs it centered perfectly, you might want to do a lot of measuring, but I didn't do it that way. But what I did was I switched over to my 8x10 frame size, got a 5x7 hole, and I took my paper and I flipped it over and taped it to the back of my mat, then turned it over and put my cat, I'll take it out, this part of my cat in the center and eyeballed it. Then I put my stencil that I'm going to use on my paper. So now I can remove this and proceed with my stenciling. All right, so now I want to take a stencil. Let's start with this stencil. This is Plaid Folk Art number 30623. No name. I'm going to slide it under my cat, put it in position, and I'll probably tape it down a couple of places just to help it stay in place. Then I have my palette, and if I need something flat to use, I'll use my palette so that I can push my sponge down into my paint. I start off with Sailing Blue by Craft Smart. This is kind of a practice. If it turns out great, she'll get it. If not, I'll have to do another one. I'm just going to put a little bit out on the palette and dab my sponge in. And then I'm going to stencil my cat and not go over my template that I created. Maybe I'll just make one of these. That way she won't have to worry about hanging them together and them not being even. I'll solve that problem. And at the edges, I'm careful because I don't want too much paint to seep under my template that I made because it'll fall outside the line of my cat. I'm trying to stay in the line of my cat. I don't know if this is going to work. I'm just trying it. Okay, then I'm going to leave tape at the top because I don't want this to move. And I will pull this off. Gently pull up my stencil. There. So far so good. Okay, next stencil. This is a Balzer Designs. Mini Cursive Alpha, that's what it's called. And I put some Master's Touch Verdi paint on my palette. And I'm gonna slide this underneath there. And I'm gonna stencil this one now. Same sponge, I'm not cleaning it off other than to just dab it on my paper up here. And away we go again. One thing I suggest that you do, if you do this, is leave more border on the side of your stencil. Because I didn't leave much here, so I have no leeway to go up close to the edge without possibly going over, so I'm having to be really careful. All right, let's take this one up. That's cute. The next stencil is Plaid Folk Art 30604. It's called Single Rose, and I'm gonna use Artist Loft Bronze. Same sponge. Okay, one more stencil. On this one, I'm going to use my hummingbird stencil. It's by Momenta. It has no name. The number is BL-067. And I'm just going to use the flower portion. I'm going to use the paint color Deep Midnight Blue by Americana. And I'm going to use the same sponge. This time I'm just going to go over the top to help me with placement. Let's see what we've got. Oh, I got some on my, yeah, the stencil got on my mat. Oh well, I tried. I'm wondering if it'll get covered by the mat. Well, I kind of screwed up here, so I don't think she's getting this one, but I really like the concept. It would get covered. This little spot that the stencil left would get covered, but I messed up here, so I'm gonna do another one, but that's the idea. That's what I'm going for. But I'm gonna go have lunch first. I'm all tense now from doing this. I'll be back. It's the next day. I wasn't happy with it, so I kind of thought, I'm just gonna leave. So I did. Here's where I left off. I made this cat. I love the idea that I have for the cats. But I don't love how this turned out because I got some paint on the paper here, which would be covered with the mat like I showed you yesterday. I'm pretty sure she'd frame everything, but I'm not happy with that. If it happens again, I'm gonna leave it though. And I wasn't happy with the ear. I messed up the ear. So I changed my plan this morning. I came in here and I decided, okay, I'm gonna make this easier on myself rather than trying to use a template that's not even cut out wonky. And it's great if I'm not trying to be squared up on a page, and I'm not trying to be perfect. I just want it to be decent enough to be able to be framed if she wants to. So instead of using this, which was hard to line up, I cut this out of my paper so I can use this for something else. And now I have this template, and then I can take this template and put it on my paper. And this is the same paper I showed you at the beginning of the video. And I can line it up perfectly like this. And then I'll put some tape at the top to hold it. Maybe one more piece just for good measure. And then I can take my stencil and put it in between and stencil on top of this, which means I have all this extra space out here that I can get paint and it won't get on here as easily. So let's see if that works. I'm gonna do another one. I'm gonna go in the same order of stencils that I used. So if you saw the beginning of the video, unless you fast forwarded, which, But anyway, I'm gonna go through the same stencils, the same paint colors, the same process. I'll speed it up just a little bit. All right, so let's get started. Much better. I'm going to do 2 more. I'm going to use similar colors, but I do have some more colors on here that I'm going to add. I've got some stuff left on my palette here, and I might mix those together to do my first base layer and just a bunch of other different shades of blues and maybe a metallic that I'll just mix in. I'm not sure which order I'll go in or which one I'll use, so I can't really tell you. But that's just the general concept, same as before. Okay, I think that's all I'm gonna do on this one. She has birds too, so this is really fitting for her. All right, I'm gonna do the last one, then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, I have the third one done. So there we go. Except that the ear is not pointed. What happened to the ear there? Let's try to fix that. Let's just go ahead and put a little bit of the dark right there. There. All right, that's better. Okay, so there's the third one. Let me go get them and put them all together. There's the third one, there's the second one, and there's the first one. Well, that's gonna look really cute together. I think they're really cute. I'm gonna set them off to the side to dry and I'll come back and we need to do something with that paint on the palette. Okay, so this is the other side of this paper I've been working on, and it's the beginning of a painty paper like this down here. So I'm just gonna take my extra paint on my palette and I'm gonna put it on my painty paper. Put that down right here just for the sake of not having to hold it too much. Maybe I should put a stencil down too. How about a stencil? Let's do the stencil here. Auto's running. That's the little vacuum that runs around the house sometimes. We have enough hair between our two dogs to create 10 other dogs. So poor little Otto, he can't keep up with it. We try to keep him going a little bit, pick up the hair that he can get, and then we'll do the other vacuuming. Actually, my husband does it most of the time, but he's sweet enough to grab the vacuum cleaner and do it, because man, after I do it, my hand hurts. All right, there's that, and let's put the gold in there. And let's put another stencil down. Let's do this one. And I'll just put the gold in. Don't want to waste any of this paint. It's turning colors because I had some color left in my sponge, and that's okay. Okay, let's pull that one out. And then one more. Let's do my little hummingbird one. I love that one. And let's do some light color paint. Just some spa blue maybe. I'll just put some out since I don't have any. Ah, it's so much more freeing when you don't have to worry about messing it up for somebody else. Oh my goodness. And I need a darker color. This is pretty, but it's not finished. I'm supposed to be cleaning up my paint, and here I am making more. So I'm going to take the same stencil, same sponge, different flower. I just put some flowers on him. Okay, let's see what it looks like. Oh, how cute. How cute is that? Right in the middle of our painty paper. I won't want to mess him up, but we'll see. We'll see what happens to him. I might use him one day for something. I like making these cats. They're cute. I just don't like doing it when there's pressure on me. All right, let's go ahead and get rid of the rest of this paint. Okay, well that's clean. I'll dump these in water and clean them later. Okay, we are done. Let me go get them real quick again. I like them. I'm not gonna put a border around the cat. I'm gonna leave it just like that. And then she could put them behind whatever color frame she desires. Okay, so I will see you again soon. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.